I was home alone in my bed. I felt like I saw a black patch of shadow move in the corner of my eye. Then I thought I saw a shadow on the door just slowly drift forward for about 2 to 3 seconds, then disappear. A few minutes later, I started feeling like I heard voices while listening to music. Like random words of very quiet stuff. I'm not sure what I heard. Now this is gonna sound very fake, but I swear I heard tapping on the kitchen window, then on my bedroom window, but very quietly. I was shaking and nearly pissed myself, and I know how fake this sounds, but it actually scares the hell out of me, and I was praying multiple times. Now, when I was younger, I used to see pure white people, white clothes, and black hair in my house when I was around 10 until my dad prayed to Jesus that they'll stop coming around me, or that I would stop seeing them. My mother also died when I was 4 in a hospital after a car crash, but she was buried in a normal cemetery, no ashes or anything. Also, no one in the house has died or passed away in this house for the 60 plus years that this house has been standing here. So I don't know what the hell is going on, or even what it could be. Yeah, the title speaks for itself. This story takes place back in 2009, a few months after my niece was born. To begin with this story, my mom used to own her own Ouija board and would keep it around the house. I'm not sure, but I really didn't think too much about it growing up. Anyways, one night, my brother, sister, her boyfriend, and I all decided to play with it. Probably for about a half an hour. We were asking questions to the ghost, and most of the time I would mess with my sister and brother by giving fake answers by guiding our fingers. After a while, I got bored and I decided to let them play with it by themselves. This is where it starts to get creepy. My sister and my brother started asking if there was a spirit in the room, and it guided them to yes. My sister was skeptical because I was messing with them for a little bit, but my brother told her he wasn't moving it. A few questions later, my sister asked the spirit, what does it want? The spirit spells out a name, and it spells out Hayden, my niece's name. She then starts crying in the other room. We all go to check on her, and she's sitting up in her crib in the dark crying intensely. After that, we decided to tell the spirit goodbye and close the board and put it back where we found it. A few years go by, and we move into an apartment around 2012. My mom still has this Ouija board at this point and has it underneath her bed, but the board is laid out open almost all of the time. One day during the summer, my mom is outside in the parking lot and sees Hayden in the window looking down at her. So she just decides to take a picture of her. Behind my niece is a ghostly figure. Nobody, as far as we were aware of, was in the room with her. I don't believe she has a spirit attached to her anymore, since I think the Ouija board got thrown out a few years back. This is my other story. So I've known about the black-eyed children creepypasta urban legend, but I may have had an actual encounter with one years ago. This happened in Portland, Oregon, around David Douglas High School. I looked up black-eyed children, and there have actually been a few encounters and reports of them in Portland back in the 90s, I believe. This encounter happened to me during my high school years, so around 2009 to 2011. I can't remember the exact year, but I want to say that I was actually 14 at the time, and it was around 12 to 1 a.m., maybe a bit later. I believe it was a weekend. My brother and I have been staying up watching South Park, and we heard a knock on our garage window. Then I heard a knocking on our window. We had one of those huge windows that covered the front of the house. The curtains were up, but I peeked on the side and I saw a woman. She looked very pale with long black hair, and her eyes were very dark. Now, my first initial thought that she could have very well been a tweaker, but the next parts creeped me the hell out the most. After knocking on the window, she knocks on the door and asks to let her in. Me being the person that I am, I'm like, hell no. But my brother, who was 10 at the time, walks over to the door and says that he's gonna let her in. I literally had to forcibly hold him down until the person left. My mom and her boyfriend wake up from hearing me holding my brother down. They asked me if someone knocked on the door, and I told them exactly what just happened. One thing I've heard with black-eyed children encounters is sometimes they will force people to do things with no recollection of them doing it. Why I bring this up is that I've asked my brother if he remembers the lady, the knocking, or trying to let her in, and he always tells me that he does not. To this day, the experience creeps me out since I first ever heard about the black-eyed children phenomena, because everyone who's had a claim about them have said exactly what I've experienced. One night at my friend's dad's house, we decided to play with the Ouija board, being that the previous 2 times we played, nothing serious ever happened. So the 3 of us started playing and asking questions and having fun getting our questions answered. I am literally getting chills typing and thinking about this right now. So we keep asking questions for about 5 to 10 minutes. It stopped answering us and just started making the figure 8 over and over on the board. At the time, we were 12, 13. So we had no knowledge whatsoever of what was going on. After it stopped making the figure 8, it started going to the Z, then the O, extremely fast, back and forth. Again, if we had the knowledge of what we were dealing with, we would have said goodbye a long time ago. Being so that we didn't know what was happening, we kept all of our hands on the planchette. After getting a very weird feeling, the lights started flickering on and off really fast, and a garage door started opening and closing really fast. My friend's dad had gone out for the night, and we were there alone, and we played in the garage. Without saying goodbye, we all ran into the house and huddled into the basement until his dad got back home. After that day, we never touched the board again, and it definitely made us believe in this stuff. Honestly, it is definitely not something to play around with. I always sometimes wonder if that's the reason why a lot of bad or weird things happened in my life. Now I know we go through some weird or bad times in our lives, but it was a lot for me. Seeing shadows, sleep paralysis, things moving around the house, knocking, etc., etc. It really all makes me wonder, have I been dealing with all of this because I didn't say goodbye on the Ouija board? Good evening, everyone. This is Yuri K, and this is the end of the video. Please leave a comment and let us know your opinions on the matter. If you happen to like this content, please check out our other videos. Make sure you like and share amongst your friends and family to help our community grow. You happen to be new to this channel? Please make sure you subscribe. It's free, and you can always change it in the future. You have some terrifying story suggestions? If so, make sure that you send it to my email, fearofthedarkstories@gmail.com, and I'll feature it in a future segment. But you guys stay safe out there, and remember to always be afraid of the dark.